So please, before we dive right into this video, comment the name of your sunscreen in the comment section. Just type the sunscreen you're using in the comment section. Let us know the people that are using moisturizers and those that are using the actual sunscreen. It's just for fun, nothing serious. Okay, the video is going to be very helpful. I want you guys to listen to what I have to say carefully, because I'll be showing you how to identify a good sunscreen, and I'll also be listing some good sunscreen we have out there in the market. 3 types of rays that the sun emits. We have the UVA rays, UVB rays, and you have the UVC rays. Now, from these 3 types of rays, it's only the UVA rays and UVB rays that affect us. Thankfully, the UVC rays doesn't affect us because it doesn't penetrate down the earth. It is blocked by the ozone layer. So we are only going to focus on the UVA rays and the UVB rays because these are the ones that affect us. Now, for the UVA rays, these are rays that penetrate deep into your skin. They penetrate into your deep layers of your skin, and these rays are primarily responsible for skin sagging, wrinkles, premature aging, darkening, dark spots, and they're causing cancer over time. Now, it is actually because of this ray that they say even though you are indoors, apply sunscreen, because this particular ray can penetrate through your windows and still come to where you are and affect you. Yes. And this is why they also say even though it is raining, still use your sunscreen, because these UVA rays can still penetrate even though the weather is cloudy. It can still affect you even under cloudy weather. So this is the reason why they say always apply sunscreen, whether it's raining, whether you are indoors, always apply sunscreen, just because of this UVA rays. Then we have the UVB rays. Now, this particular rays is responsible for affecting the top layer of your skin, the outer layer of your skin. This is the particular ray that causes sunburn. This one only affects you when you go outside the sun. When you go outside the sun and the sun hits you directly and you get sunburn or you get skin darkening, this is the rays that causes it, this particular UVB rays. Now, this ray can be intense depending on the time of the day, depending on how hot the sun is. The good thing about this particular ray is that if you are under a shade, this ray will not affect you. This UVB rays will not affect you. If you are indoors, it will not affect you. If you have protective clothing on, it will not affect you because they don't penetrate into your skin. They just stay on the surface of your skin. Now, aside looking at if your sunscreen has white cast, because this is just the major thing people look out for. Does it have white cast? Does it leave white cast rather? Aside looking at that, aside looking at if it stings your eye, aside looking at if it makes you sweat or if it is sweat resistant, you need to look out for what we call broad spectrum. Now, broad spectrum is the ability of your sunscreen to protect your skin from the 2 types of rays that affect us, UVA rays and UVB rays. So if your sunscreen doesn't protect you from these 2 types of rays, it is not a broad spectrum sunscreen, so you're not going to get the maximum protection while using that sunscreen. Now, how are you going to identify a broad spectrum sunscreen? When you get your sunscreen, read what is written on the packaging or on the bottle of the sunscreen. If you see broad spectrum there on the sunscreen, that means it is a broad spectrum sunscreen. So now, most sunscreen that would indicate broad spectrum on their packaging are sunscreens from US, UK, and the rest. But when it comes to Asian sunscreens, which I believe is like the best kind of sunscreen you can ever use, okay, Asian sunscreens, they don't indicate with broad spectrum, they indicate with a PA value. So that is why when you see your sunscreen, you're going to see SPF 50 PA plus. Now, that SPS 50 indicates protection from UVB rays, and the PA plus indicates protection from UVA rays. So that means that it is a broad spectrum sunscreen. I lost my Skin Aqua sunscreen. I don't even know if I should cry, but these are the sunscreens that I have available. I used to use the Skin Aqua, but I misplaced it. But anyway, I still have these 3 sunscreens, and these 3 sunscreens, they have different sun protection. I'm just using this to explain to you what I meant, because this might not be really clear to some people. I mean the whole broad spectrum explanation. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the hatomugi sunscreen, and I don't know if you can see, focus please. I don't know if you can see clearly. There is SPF 50 plus, PA plus plus. So this indicates that this sunscreen would give you maximum protection from both UVA rays and UVB rays. This SPF 50 plus that you see here indicates UVB protection, then this PA plus 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 indicates UVA protection. And now this PA plus plus can vary. Some sunscreens you will see, you're going to see just 3 pluses. This one has 4 pluses, meaning that it will give you the maximum protection. Now the one with 3 pluses will give you protection but not as strong as this one. The one with 2 pluses will also give you protection but not as strong as this one. So the more plus sign you get in your sunscreen, the more protection you get. It just shows the strength of UVA protection you get. But this is a broad spectrum sunscreen, and I have another one here. This is your favorite, you guys favorites, the Dr. Rachel sunscreen, and from what you're seeing here, it has 60 SPF 60 plus plus. This will not give you maximum protection. It will only protect you from sunburn. It has a high UVB protection. It will only protect you from sunburn, but it will not protect your skin from getting dark. It will not protect your skin from getting aged fast. It will not protect your skin from getting wrinkles and fine lines fast. It will not protect your skin from skin cancer because it doesn't have strong UVA protection. I have another sunscreen. This one is also SPF 50 plus PA plus 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 plus, and this one has 4 pluses, meaning that this would also give you maximum protection from the sun. In as much as when you get your sunscreen, you are looking at, does it cause me white cast, does it give me white cast, does it sting my eye, does it make me sweat? Also look at if that sunscreen you're using is a broad spectrum. This is what is the main thing, because without protection, then why are you using a sunscreen? If you're using a sunscreen that doesn't leave white cast, doesn't sting your eye, doesn't do any of those things that make you uncomfortable, but that sunscreen is not a broad spectrum sunscreen, that sunscreen will not protect your skin from the sun completely, then you are using a moisturizer and not a sunscreen. That is why I mentioned that you should tell me your sunscreen in the comment section, so I will know those that are using moisturizers and those that are using the actual sunscreen. For this Dr. Rachel sunscreen, in as much as it is not a broad spectrum sunscreen, it's not give you maximum protection from the sun, but it's going to protect your skin to an extent. So if you cannot afford to get a sunscreen for 10k, because right now the word sunscreen and the word affordable, they are like this, they can never meet. Sunscreens are expensive. Good sunscreens you're going to see are 10k and above, and not everybody can afford that. Not all fingers are equal. Some people are still trying to fit in their whole skincare routine inside that 10k, and now you're telling them to go and get just one sunscreen for 10k. It is not really fair. So please, if you cannot afford to get a sunscreen, if you cannot splurge on getting an expensive sunscreen, it's better you use your Dr. Rachel like that. At least to an extent, you don't have sunburn. But if you can splurge more on good sunscreens, here are my top 10 sunscreens that I have for you. Like these sunscreens, they are broad spectrum, they don't leave white cast, some sting the eye, and I'm going to mention those that sting the eye so you can avoid your eye area while applying them. And these sunscreens, they are very good. They are actually good. Most of them are Japanese sunscreens. When it comes to sunscreens, just leave it for the Asians. See, Japanese, Korean, they are the best when it comes to sunscreens. The first sunscreen that I have is the Tocobo sunscreen. This sunscreen is very lightweight and watery in texture. Like it feels like water, and this sunscreen is very good for oily skin. So if you have an oily skin and you need a sunscreen that would leave just a normal finish on your skin, like a natural finish on your skin, and will not leave your skin feeling greasy, this sunscreen is best for you. The next sunscreen I have is a Nivea sunscreen. Like this one is the one I'm trying out next. As I've misplaced my skin aqua sunscreen, I'm going to get this Nivea sunscreen next, like maybe today or tomorrow. This sunscreen is also lightweight, also leaves a natural finish or like a semi-matte finish, and it is good for people with oily skin. Like if you have an oily skin and you don't want something that is too greasy, this sunscreen is also going to be good for you. The next sunscreen I have is the Misha Aqua sunscreen. This sunscreen is lightweight and it is good for all skin type. It leaves like a natural finish. It doesn't feel too greasy, neither does it feel too matte. It is a good sunscreen for all skin type. So if you have oily skin, you have dry skin, combination skin, you can make use of this Mish Aqua sunscreen. This one I have is a sun cut sunscreen. This sunscreen is good for people that sweat a lot or people that have really oily skin, because this sunscreen leaves like a matte finish. It doesn't leave white scars, it doesn't sting the eye. It is a super good sunscreen. The next sunscreen I have is Biore UV sunscreen. This sunscreen is very small, 70 ml, but it is super good for people with oily skin because it leaves like a matte finish or a natural finish. But this is a broad spectrum sunscreen. It doesn't leave white scars, it doesn't sting the eye. It is amazing. Now the next one we have is the Skin Aqua sunscreen, my favorite sunscreen of all time. This sunscreen is good for all skin type. If you have an oily skin, you can also benefit from this sunscreen because it doesn't leave an oily or a greasy feel. It leaves like a natural finish. It gives you this dewy glow, this hydrating dewy glow, and this sunscreen will not clog your pores. It will not make you dark. It will not leave white cast. It doesn't sting the eye. I love this sunscreen so much, and I've been using it for a long time until I misplaced it. Next sunscreen I have is the Nimeless sunscreen. Now this sunscreen brightens your skin. I don't know the importance of adding brightening ingredients in your sunscreen because I feel like it is not necessary. Sunscreen should just be sunscreen. Let the main focus of your sunscreen be that it should protect your skin from the sun. But this particular sunscreen decided to overdo, and they added brightening ingredients in their sunscreen. And this sunscreen contains tranexamic acid and niacinamide that would help to brighten your skin and also protect your skin, because this sunscreen is a broad spectrum sunscreen. It is good for people with dry skin or combination skin, and it doesn't leave any white cast. It is amazing, and it has like an added advantage, which is the brightening benefits. Obviously, the next sunscreen I have is the Easy Tree sunscreen. This one is good for people with dry skin. It is very hydrating, it is lightweight, doesn't sting the eye, and it leaves like a dewy finish. So if you love that dewy look, that glow look after using your sunscreen, you might want to opt for this one. Next sunscreen is the Cosrx sunscreen. Cosrx products are very mild and very gentle, and they cater for sensitive skin. That is why I love this sunscreen. This sunscreen is very mild. It contains aloe vera. So if you're struggling with face redness or irritation, or you have a very sensitive skin, you might want to opt for this one because of the aloe vera in it. This sunscreen will give you this soothing, calming feel, and obviously it doesn't leave white cast, it doesn't sting the eye. It is a good sunscreen. It is a broad spectrum sunscreen. The next I have is the Vaseline sunscreen. This is it here. This is almost finished. This sunscreen is also a good broad spectrum sunscreen. The only thing about this sunscreen is that it might take a little time to blend into your skin. It leaves like a blue tint, but with time, once you just blend it enough, it is going to blend right into your skin very well. But it takes time to blend. It also has added advantage. It contains niacinamide that would also help to brighten your skin. The next sunscreen I have is this hatomugi sunscreen. I call this a moisturizer. This is a moisturizing sunscreen. So if you have a dry skin, rather your skin is extremely dry, you might want to opt for this one. This one is very moisturizing. Like if you have an oily skin, stay clear from this sunscreen. I cannot even dare to use this sunscreen on my face. My pores are going to get clogged and I'm going to end up breaking out. At least that is what I feel. If you have an oily skin and you're still making use of this on your face and it doesn't break you out, please let me know in the comment section. But personally, I don't use this sunscreen on my face. I use it on my body and it moisturizes my skin perfectly, very well. Okay, so if you have a dry skin, you might want to opt for this one. This has a light feel. It's one more thing, this stings the eye. This stings the eye. So if you have a sensitive eye area, you might want to stay clear from this sunscreen because this sunscreen stings the eye. So if you're applying this, if you're using this sunscreen, or if you want to use this sunscreen, ensure to avoid your eye area. Or you can still try it. If it doesn't sting your eye, fine. But some people also say it doesn't sting their eye. So I think it depends on how sensitive your eye area is. And the next sunscreen I have is La Roche-Posay sunscreen. La Roche-Posay. I'm bringing out my inner French. So this sunscreen blends really fast. It is lightweight, and this sunscreen helps to control oil production on your skin. So very good for people with oily skin. So if you have an oily skin and you're looking for a sunscreen that will help to control your oil production, you might want to opt for this particular sunscreen. So guys, if you found this video helpful, if you enjoyed this video, I had lots of fun making this video. So if you enjoyed this video, kindly subscribe if you haven't, like my video, drop comments, share to your family and friends, and until I see you in my next one, have a wonderful week. Bye.